What's going on, everybody? It's Alan from Breaking and Entering, and today we are sitting down with the guys from Form. We've got Alex, we got Jake here. How are you guys doing today?
Good. Tired. Yeah. Usual.
Good and tired. That works. That works. I wanted to talk to you guys because we're reaching out to a ton of different bands, and the hardcore scene in Milwaukee is kind of unlike some of the other cities in the country in just terms of the organization of things, and it's really having a moment in the middle of hardcore overall having a moment. So before we kind of talk into all of that, how long has this band been going on? How did you guys kind of get started?
So this band's been going for about 2 years now. We kind of started off the remnants of me and him, as well as our drummer Aaron. We're all in the band Mud Dog from like 2016 until 2022. So we're kind of sitting on idle hands, trying to start something new up. Started writing for a new project and picked up Alex Malink from Telethon. Got him on bass, put the EP together, and then started playing some shows.
For sure. Now with you guys, because you're, have smaller EPs in the terms of just overall content, was it like these songs were ready to go before you picked up Alex, or did you kind of jam on them together? How did that all kind of go down?
Well, I would say that I have a pretty finished demo phase, if you will. Like the songs are usually like written and they're ready by the time we're really playing them together for one song. But before we started recording the EP, we were already all meeting up, trying to, the way I see it, you always need to be able to play the songs like it's a show and play them better than you want them to sound on the EP, or else we don't start recording yet. That's kind of how we go about it.
And a lot of, as far as like the jamming on it, stuff like that, a lot of the stuff Alex has mostly written out or had a demo. He has like a full vision for a thing, and he's more of just telling us what to do. And sometimes we'll do stuff where it's like, oh, that sounded a little better to do that. Then when we end up finally recording it, we'll change little things sometimes. But for the most part, Alex writes everything, basically.
For sure.
We'll feed him ideas sometimes, but he's the guy that puts it all together,
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of bands work that way, so that's really cool to see that you have that. Of course, then there's that energy of just getting the full band together. So, Alex, when you are done writing something and you see it come to life like that, is that kind of satisfying to be like, okay, this is what I had in my head? Or do you like having, the different input from everybody else?
I mean, I beg people for input when I am writing and I think something's cool. I'm not the kind of person who holds on to an idea till it's done to show everybody. I show everybody when it's in its most infant phases. I just usually not a lot of feedback comes, and I don't let the feedback I do get, I guess, distract me from going for the vision I'm chasing for. Because by the time I get to the end of the song, it's like, this is kind of what I wanted it to be the whole time. It's not usually a huge divergence from that. Minus the details. I'll say writing hardcore where it's not like you write a verse, you write a chorus, and you repeat them. It's kind of like sometimes you have 8 different sections of a song that don't repeat at all and only happen in a minute and a half. So it's a very linear writing structure sometimes.
Yeah. So in general, like I said, bigger on the national scene, hardcore is having a moment, right? Like with bands like Turnstile, Knocked Loose, and just heavier bands in general. But who are the bands that you guys listen to that really kind of drive what you're doing?
You want to go first, Jake? I'm gonna say.
I don't know. I've always really liked Backtrack, Rotting Out, Bane Terror, bands like those. I mean, Defeater, of course, Turnstile and Trapped Under Ice and stuff like that has a pretty big influence.
Yeah, I feel like specifically for writing the Form stuff, like generally that Rotting Out style of hardcore is kind of like what I want to write all the time, but it doesn't usually end up coming out that way. And when we're writing these songs, I'm like, the kind of hardcore that I love is that like that Trapped Under Ice, like Big Kiss Goodnight style, where it's almost just like a heavy hitting pop song with these chuggy dancey riffs, and bringing something like that back into the scene just because there's not a lot of bands like in Milwaukee specifically that are playing that kind of hardcore, and that's kind of what I'm listening to. So I thought I'd bring something like that, and I think what we got is it's something in the middle, right? Like people listen, they hear the TUI, and they hear some of the other stuff.
Well, we're usually chasing something that kind of sounds away, and what we end up actually making sounds like you can hear winks of it, but it's usually it ends up in a direction away from whatever it is, but that kind of keeps it sounding like its own thing a little bit.
For sure. And I think, sounding unique is definitely like a big big standout for you guys, right? So you got a pair of EPs. Yeah, so you got a pair of EPs out. Is the goal at all to make a longer project here? Are we doing an album at any point? Or are you just kind of, I know that the most recent EP just came out as a 7-inch, but are you looking longer at any point?
I mean, the short answer is like I'd love to, but like I'm at the mercy of what's coming into my creative antenna when it's open. I won't sit there and be like, I'm going to write 10 songs and force songs out just to get them. A song has to come organically. And, 6 years ago, I would write 10 songs in a week or 10 songs in a month, and we'd pump stuff out. But nowadays, I'm lucky if 3 good songs come to me in a year. So that's just kind of how it is. And I'd rather have 3 songs that I don't like the idea of like going like single to single, but I treat like when I have a 3-song EP, that is a mini album, right? It's not just
sure.
We don't really play any like the promoting games of here's our latest single which you've now heard 3 times and then comes out on the album, and nothing that's like a game for streams. It's just here's the piece, like this is it. If it's 3 songs, it's 3 songs.
And we're not good at promoting ourselves in anything.
Yeah, not good at scaling the system, but I mean, if I wrote 10 songs this year, you'd see a 10-song album next year, if they would fit the same thing. But it could be 1. I don't know yet. It depends what fits in that next phase, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, quality over quantity in this landscape is not common sometimes. You know what I mean? Like you said, people do the drop a single, but then eventually you kind of get numb to it, right? So I applaud that strategy, and to say I'm just going to make the best record that we can make, which is awesome. Going into next year, what is kind of the thought? What are you trying to play more shows? Are you trying to record later in the year or anything like that? Like what's, I guess, on the horizon for Form?
Well, it still feels like we just released this last EP, Godseye, and we've only played a handful of shows since the release of that, so we're still kind of trying to play that one out where we can. Everyone in the band's pretty busy all the time, so we don't usually take like a ton of shows, but I'd like to get a good handful.
I'd say the goal would be to play more shows, because it's like, you don't really catch your groove of performing with a certain band live until you've got like that 30 or so shows under the belt of it, and we're still finding out like what our live set should look like, compared to, because in the time in between our last band and this one, we had a lot of time not doing shows, so it's like we got to get used to playing shows again. We got to get used to performing in front of people, because it is so different, and it's like, it's, you're like, oh man, I play it great all the time. You're like, well, I kind of fuck it up live a bunch. Can I swear on this? Exactly.
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, you're good.
You can edit that in post. No.
Yeah, it's the internet. You're fine. With that handful of shows, or those limited amount of shows, though, what has been your favorite one that you've played so far with this project?
We just had some good ones. We played a show at the Cactus Club on a Sunday night, and nobody was there except the band. And I think that was honestly my favorite show. I don't know. It was just fun.
I mean,
it's hard to say.
That's the cheesy answer. I don't.
It was fun.
Like a few come to my head for different reasons. Last year we got to open for Bane at the X-Ray show when Bane came through. That was like a huge thing for me, because like Bane's one of my favorite hardcore bands, and like that style I think influenced our style a lot too. Was it like, in terms of like when you're open for a bigger band, you don't have a lot of people there for you? Was that like my favorite show to play? Maybe not necessarily, but like I'm glad we did it, and I'm glad we were there. And there was a couple we did in, I want to say, June of this summer. We played a show in Madison and a show in Green Bay back to back, and both of those shows just had crowds that were just feeling us super good, and the kids were going nuts and everyone loved it, and it was just a good, fun environment. And then the last one I'll bring up, just because I'm kind of tripping over my own conversation here, last year we went out and played this DIY space in Kankakee, where this guy James, he books these shows at this like storefront, like it's like an art center kind of thing. I know it's like a
strip mall, big window storefront, like small town kind of thing.
And there was
that sounds very small town, but sounds awesome.
Yeah, but it was like absolutely packed full of kids that wanted to have fun so bad. Like, I've not seen such crazy moshing and just silly moshing and people just willing to have fun. Like, I think that I haven't seen something like that in Milwaukee in a while. It was absolutely wild. And that's, I think, the hard thing is getting all, like, the truly young kids, right? Like, all ages venue type crowd of kids to be going nuts for hardcore. You wouldn't expect it, I guess, in that Kankakee, but that venue's got something going on with who's going to there. So we're hoping to go back there this year. March. So that's like the next thing on our docket right now. But other than that, we just kind of like wait and see what comes up. You know, every time if someone asks us, "Hey, you want to play a show?" I ask everyone if we can do it, and if we can do it schedule wise, we always make it happen. There's not a lot of let's not do that one. It's just we take what we get.
Yeah, for sure. I like that. I like the attitude of that too, and like being able to play places like Kankakee. Is that what you said? Being able to play places like that and still give it your all and have, an authentic scene come back at you. That's super cool. So, with that said, if people want to find Form, they want to follow you guys and listen to, the records, where's the best place to go do that at?
Probably Spotify or Instagram or YouTube. I don't know. We're on everything. It's just, I think that Form's a pretty generic word, so sometimes you got to search. Sometimes it's Form_Milwaukee. I think that the true easiest way is probably to search like Form Godseye. That's the name of our last EP, and then you'll find us on Spotify and everywhere else after that.
For sure. Well, thank you guys for sitting down and taking the time to do this with me today, and we will be looking for a lot more from you coming up. And don't forget, you can check out more of bands like Form and the entire Milwaukee music scene by checking out Breaking and Entering. You can find us every day over at breakingandentering.net and follow us on all of our social media. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.